This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk about bass fishing. A little bit different shows this week, a little bit shorter shows, as I try to get over having the flu, which sucks. And then it also occurred to me, I just looked down and realized that it's February 4th, and practice starts on February 9th at Sam Rayburn for the first Bassmaster Open. I mean, just full disclosure, I've got 7 15-foot crappie rods on the front deck of my Bass Cat right now with about 90 different 32nd to 16th ounce jigs and tungsten beads. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of swapping here. Fortunately, we've got some decent weather. So I thought it was a really good show yesterday. Big shout out to Drew Gill for coming on and talking about how the one power period of forward-facing sonar use in the Bass Pro Tour on Lake Conroe is really our first look at that after talking about it for the better part of the off season to see how that would go down. And if you guys haven't had a chance to go watch, and it's mainly listen to that show because Drew was traveling to a Toyota Series event. So it's just audio, you know, he's a lot taller than people realize. I don't think people realize Drew Gill's like 6'3", 6'4". But he had some really good intakes, some insights after a top 10 finish on how that one power period with the forward facing sonar may not have the change in who's at the top of the leaderboard as we expected kind of going into the year. Well worth the listen to. So today I wanted to get, it'll be the first time I think we've ever had Trait on the actual show. Have we ever had you on the show before, Trait?
No.
No. Chris has been on the show all the time.
Many times.
I'm too unfiltered for you.
Yeah, no, it's mostly out of self-preservation of the BTL brand. But we've got the hosts, the co-hosts of the Bilge podcast, Chris and Trait Zaldain, also Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Chris, and a lot of cool stuff going on behind the scenes here. You guys are Fort Worthians?
Yeah, right here. Yeah, as we're doing this podcast, I'm looking out. The weather's been awesome the last couple days here. And by the way, I got to say this, two things. In that little intro, the 21st season of BTL. Are you kidding me, dude? 21 seasons. Congratulations.
I think I've only been here since 2008. So 18.
Congrats, man. That's amazing. And 2,
16, yeah.
You were an absolute trooper for hopping on after having the flu. Because when I get the man flu, I do not get out of bed for 2 weeks straight. You've got to handle everything, dude. And so kudos to you. I didn't
get out of bed for like 5 days, and Court completely took care of me, but I kind of had to. So like the two biggest things like that I'm looking for right now are 6-inch Sakamadas and Delsum cough syrup. Not necessarily in that order. Like if you look at my kitchen table right now, it's like loaded with both of those things.
Yeah. You gave me a little tip on some of those Sakamadas. I stocked up on a few of them, but I got some of the heavies, and there's a huge difference between the heavies and the lights, right?
Yeah. Well, now I'm also starting to learn, like there's a whole group of guys that are enjoying putting the 32nd, like the 8th to 32nd ounce roller heads in the heavies, and then using the weight of the bait to get it. I don't know. It's
the whole thing.
6 one way, half dozen the other.
It's the whole thing, dude. The last couple weeks here, I did 2 shows. I did one show up in Indiana and another show. I worked with Tucker Smith in West Virginia, and it was so cool doing the little seminars. I had Tucker Smith with me, and I would just put him on the spotlight. I remember being a rookie, going to some of these shows and trying to like cough up information, you know, and it's like so hard to do, but he did a phenomenal job. And I actually learned a lot from him with the whole jig head minnow thing, dude. These kids are phenomenal. 23 years old and like just absolute.
Is he really only 23?
Yeah, he's 23,
Yeah.
dude. He
They're
knows
all like,
everything
and that's
about,
how
like,
old Drew Gill is too.
yeah. And you'll say an 1/8 ounce, and he'll be like, "No, you got to throw 16th because of the XYZ." And I'm just like, dude, I'm getting old.
You didn't happen to, I mean, like, long history, a lot of water under the bridge here. You didn't happen to watch any of that on Conroe, did you? Where they had the one power period where they could like pick which period they wanted to.
I saw maybe 30 minutes of it total over the duration of the tournament.
It was weird. It put this, what Gil would call the super scopers in like a hyper mode. So like instead of going around and picking off fish, it was like boom, 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 boom. And it actually like enhanced the scopeability for them to where then they actually like got further ahead of the guys who were good at scoping but weren't super scopers. It was like what all yesterday's conversation was about. It was like the fact that he could only use it for a third of the whole day actually makes them more lethal with it than if everybody had it for the whole day.
I think Matt went full scoper. Matt is full scoper. The last time I went fishing with you a couple weeks ago, dude, you opened my eyes, and you've come a long way with that. Absolutely.
He called me yesterday, and he sounded so grouchy. You sounded so grouchy.
I was. I am pretty grouchy.
You went like 10 minutes on a rage about non-scopers or something like that.
No, I
You
didn't.
never took a breath. I was
I
like,
don't even remember talking to you yesterday.
yeah, you were intense.
Do you miss not fishing, Trait?
No. I
When
mean,
was the last year you fished the opens?
21. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and that like a month or two later in fall of 21.
Really? So really you got out right at the start of the what some would say is the chaos.
Yeah, for like a year and a half, the people I traveled with, like Sam, George, and Andy from Missile Baits, they had a Garmin and they kept telling me, get it. And I kept saying to Hummingbird, to the guys in the yard, I'm going to put one on. Like I get my butt whooped, period. But, maybe I can catch some fish with the Garmin. And they were like, don't do it. Don't do it. I didn't. And I got out. And about the time I got out was when Hummingbird first started putting those lives on boats.
So you do a lot. I mean, if you listen to the Bilge, you do a lot behind the scenes. I don't think people understand how much you run, I guess, what do you want to call it? The business?
Everything.
The LLC behind the scenes that makes it work, not only from the fishing, but a lot of the business stuff was you. Is that something that you guys like have enjoyed over the last couple of years? Or is that something that like you feel like it's like, it seems like it's kind of in a groove now. Like you've kind of disrupted the industry a little bit.
Yeah,
and
we're in a groove, I'd say, but I think we're at the point now where we're like looking outside of just pro fishing, because we're both getting a little older. And that's weird to say because it feels like we were just the young people before, but we're like our business is. It's not on cruise control with sponsors, right? But in fishing, the companies know us, so they either want to work with us or they don't. And so we've been like focused on like, what can we do with fishing outside of the pro side and tournament side? So it's just kind of pivoted a little bit and adapting, just so we have a future, when he decides to hang it up.
Yeah. You're not going to Rick Clun it?
Years from no, not at all. Not at all. And that's a few years down the road, but it's nice to set something up. But no, dude, Trait's an absolute killer. I call her the Texas rattlesnake because when it comes down to, you hear it all the time, sponsorship negotiations and things like that. Like 60 to 70% of the Elite Series guys have to go to the negotiating table by themselves after fishing a whole week long or whatever it is. And, like Ike's got Becky, Kevin's got Sherry. And like to have that is, dude, it allows me to focus on what I need to do, which is not winning tournaments, which is being consistent, trying to make the Classic every year, which, good little segue, Bassmaster Classic in how long now? Almost a month out, about a month out.
Yeah.
Bassmaster Classic. Dude, that is the only tournament I could think about right now, Matthew. And literally, as I'm packing, my shop I got tackle everywhere, and I'm packing for Florida. Florida's just getting in the way right now, dude, especially with the decreased pot size, let's call it. It's like, I'm not forking out $4,000 or $4,500, whatever it is per tournament. So it's like, you could just like wing it. Like, honestly.
No, you can't. No, don't wing it.
I mean, compared to, years past, again, seems like there's less at stake with the entry fees lower. But
you guys are what, $1,000 a derb now?
Yeah, I think it's about $1,000. Yeah. So we're putting in 10 grand total. And I don't even think they're called entry fees. I think it's a $10,000 participation fee, to tell you the truth. But there's a little more money in the pot.
Pledge.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pledge. Sign on the dotted line. And boom, good to go. But yeah, Florida right now is literally just getting in the way for that big tournament. 45 minutes from my house here in March.
So let's talk about that. So that's one of the reasons why I've had both of you on. Like I said, I've had Chris on a bunch. I've been on the Bilge. It was a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed it. It was one of the early episodes too. Yeah. One of the earlier episodes. I will ask you about that after we get through this classic stuff, because that's the biggest thing out of the people in this. Everyone's saying, "Hey, when is all this stuff coming up? When is all this stuff coming back?"
So let me set. No. Hold on.
We're talking about the classic.
Exactly. Let me set it up for you. So you always hear from the guys. Either you talk to Justin Hamner after he wins, Edwin Evers, whoever it is, they always talk about how much of a marathon the classic is. And it's literally an almost 2-week long period of your life where it's just like so much demand of this and that. And, Bassmaster, they put together, Champions Night and, a couple little sponsored events and things like that. But Trey got to thinking over the last couple of years here with the classic being in Fort Worth. But what do? We do like 3 days of practice, then there's an off day, and then there's another off day, and like the anglers just kind of sit around, check into their hotel, do whatever. Well, there's one gap that we saw in this, 10-day period of practice and sponsor obligations and media day, 3 days of the actual tournament, a ride around day. There's all these different days. She found a gap in the schedule where the anglers literally check into a hotel at 10 to noon on one day, and then they're just free to do whatever they want. So that's when she stepped in and said, I'm gonna
Did he ask a question?
Pen to paper and figure something out. So
that's good backstory. So Classic Week, it actually starts like March 13th, 14th is when everything starts.
Before that.
Way before that.
Yeah, they practice Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they all stay at the lake generally. Then Bass gets a hotel room for every angler that starts that Monday following practice. So their hotel room in downtown Fort Worth starts Monday and goes through the following Monday after the tournament ends. And then Tuesday, they have registration and meetings. Wednesday, they do like the mock day, tournament day, media and everything. Thursday's media day, then the tournament's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this
is where it comes into play, where you guys are Chris obviously from the West Coast, but this is your stomping grounds, Trey. Like, this is where you kind of grew up, know, this neck of the woods. And I thought it was cool when you heard you said, hey, talk about what you wanted to what it kind of started at on that Monday, and then just dive right into how this thing morphed into a really cool event benefiting several local charities that all of our listeners and viewers and your listeners and viewers and anybody in the DFW area can get involved with and actually hang out with the classic winner just days before he lists the trophy.
Yeah, so in 2021, when the Classic came to Fort Worth, I had thought, like, okay, the guys get Monday night off. I'm not just a proud Texan, I'm a proud Fort Worthian. I'm very proud of where I'm from. And one thing going to the Classics with him, you realize, is the anglers never get to enjoy the town they're in. They're just constantly working. So even when, like, Duncan throws his Saturday party, well, the anglers don't get to go to that. Bassmaster throws a kickoff party on Thursday night. The anglers don't get to go to that. They never really get to experience the host city. And so I was like, well, in 21, I was like, Chris, let's just throw a party Monday night for the anglers. Let's throw a party where they can enjoy the city, let loose. We can celebrate that they made the classic, which as an angler, that's like a lifelong dream. Like, let's give them a night where they get to feel, the achievement of what they've done. They get the classic dinner thing, but it's a little stuffy, right, Matt? I don't know if you've been to one, but it's like your sponsors.
Black tie deal or
the
I went to it in 1998 and wore a tuxedo.
Yeah. So, but it's a little stuffy, right? And
yeah.
That's fine. So we were like, let's throw them a party. Well, in 21, the COVID thing happened. Everything got pushed back. We didn't know what was going to happen, so we just didn't execute on those plans. So we decided when we heard it was coming back to Fort Worth, we're throwing the guys a party. They can bring their wives, their plus ones. Let's do a crawfish boil because it's March, And that's how it started. I talked with Visit Fort Worth. They were like, let us know. We want to help make this happen. This is a great idea. We want them to leave Fort Worth happy, wanting to come back. And then as we started looking at venues and everything, and me and Chris started just like figuring out everything, we were like, okay, if we're going to spend all this money, let's make it for a good cause. Like, let's not, it kind of started to feel gluttonous. I'll be honest. It's like, you're looking at numbers and you're like, okay, well, let's make this bigger. If we're going to rent this venue out, if we're going to have an open bar, like, let's like bring in people, their friends, whoever wants to come to celebrate. And then that's when I reached out to you, Matt. And I was like, hey, what if we brought St. Jude in? Because you had introduced them to me in Tulsa. And I was like, what if we just find a way to raise some money for them on behalf of the anglers? And then that's when, you can say how I don't know if you remember that call.
Yeah, I just hooked you up with Gretchen, who actually runs. She's one of the great people at St. Jude, who's in charge of the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic. This is the first week of May up in Wabasha, Minnesota. So she's had 7-8 years of it. I think 8-9, somewhere around there, years of experience on that. So she understands the tournament fishing standpoint. Had gone to the Classic this past year just to make contacts, to meet people. And actually that was when you guys had the Zaldain set that like Bass Pro Shop. You like walk in and it was pretty like front and center. Yeah. Right.
Wild,
and had just made it was like packed sardines people, and not really my scene with that many people. I know it's not Trait's scene with that many people. So there was like a brief introduction there. Hey, yeah, nice to meet you. And they moved on. But then like a year later, when Trait reached out, I was like, yeah, remember that Gretchen and Katie who were at the Classic? Anyway, so I hooked you guys up because she understands how that works. You have the connections on there. And it was, that's literally all I did. And then it's been awesome watching this thing grow into what it is, what it has become, which is what we're going to announce here in a little bit.
Yeah. So talked with Gretchen, then I reached out to Visit Fort Worth and I said, hey, man, this is what we've decided. We're going to pivot a little bit and we're still going to celebrate the anglers. We're still going to throw a crawfish boil, let them have a good time dancing, live music. But I'd like to bring in a charity element. And they were all for it, but they were like, hey, can we bring in Cook Children's, which is our local hospital. And that's also a hospital that as a child I went to. So I was like, let's talk to them. So they connected me to them. I spoke with them. They were like, we would love to be involved. And then they brought up the cool thing about it is we lean on St. Jude to treat our patients because they have no university hospital affiliate.
Research facility.
Yeah, correct. So they're actually work hand in hand, treating patients and sharing information. So it's a really cool relationship. So we were like, let's raise money for both of them, and then it just kept going. Like, how do we execute this? And so we decided to sell tickets to the general public, where they can either buy a VIP ticket, which comes with unlimited crawfish in the open bar, or they can just buy a general admission. All ticket proceeds, 100% goes to the charity of whatever the person who's buying the tickets chooses, whichever side or both. We're not taking a dime from that. But everything goes to charity. Me and Chris are paying for whatever tab is left there. We're signing a check for it.
What?
Yeah. It's a good cause. And then Gilchrist got word, and last week they called, Gilchrist Automotive, and
Yeah.
they said,
That's
we want
where
to
you had
help.
me drive down and pick up my black 2500 HD Midnight Edition.
Nasty.
Yeah.
I've already got like 50,000 miles on that thing.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
They hopped in and said, like, let us help, and they're contributing in a huge way, which just makes the event even bigger and better. And I do want to give a plug for them. I know everyone thinks car salesman ick, but we've had so many people in the industry buy from them because they price the best, and we've had not one complaint. Everyone said, including you, like, it was the easiest process. They took care of me. No one said, oh, I feel like they're just selling me. And so anyone watching, if you're looking for a new vehicle, just give them a chance. I can connect you. There's 2 GMs, general managers, I can connect you with. And it doesn't matter if you want a Chevy, GMC, Dodge, Toyota, what am I leaving out? Ford. They have a dealership of every brand.
The best part is the general managers at these stores, the Toyota store or the Ram store, they're tournament bass fishermen. So they hook you up. As soon as they look at your social media and they see, you're holding a fish, they hook you up.
I mean, I agree. I suck at that's one of the reasons why my old truck had 330,000 miles on it. I don't feel like they gave me like any special. The only thing I thought they did was they gave me way too much for my trade-in. And
that happened to me too. Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, can I get that in writing? And then they had everything done for me. I picked it up, and I haven't had literally a single issue since then. So
yeah, I think Jacob.
I'm not like sponsored by them or anything. Like, I mean, I paid full price for a truck.
We buy vehicles from them too. They don't just give us vehicles. Fouts just bought a vehicle, I think, from them. Christian Greco. I mean,
Gilchrist.
Yeah. A line of them. So anyway, if you just give them a shot, just DM me or Chris, we'll give you the GM's number. You can talk directly to the general manager, and they're helping this event. Like, they're a big reason that the anglers are going to have a really good time, and that we're going to raise a lot of money. So they're good people, down to earth, and like Chris said, they fish. So if you're looking for a car, they can deliver it to you. Even if it's for your wife, your kid, just call up the GM and give them a shot.
So again, in the past, like, you just see anglers, they get through with their 3-day practice period, and then that Monday night they'll check in the hotel and then just either sit around or break off into little groups. We want to create an environment where all the anglers are there together, eating crawfish, having a good time, drinking drinks, but also either the local Fort Worth fishermen, or if you happen to fly in that Monday before the classic, you have a chance to come out, hang with the anglers, and mix it up with them. So it'll just be a great environment.
Yeah. So when you buy tickets, you'll get either one raffle ticket or multiple raffle tickets. We're going to have a lot of higher item donated items you can win that night. You don't have to attend the event to buy a raffle ticket. Everything we've asked donation wise is valued $1,000 or more. So it's really a great event. Everyone's getting behind it. We'll list those items on the page soon. If you want to donate, reach out. The other thing is, if you want to directly donate to one of the charities, we have the links. If you want to donate straight to them, that's awesome too. The website's classiccrawfishboil.com.
CRAWFISH.
Yeah. So if you do come, like I said, we're going to have live music. That's the Like Combs tribute band. I know the singer. We grew up together.
Like Combs. Oh, I got it.
Get it?
Yeah. It's not Luke Combs. It's Like Combs.
Yeah. We're going to have dancing. Everyone dress up in your best Fort Worth cowboy gear. We're going to give away some belt buckles to the best dressed who emulate the Stockyard style. It's down in the Stockyards at Tannehill.
So it's at Tannehill. So if you've ever been to the Stockyards, it's literally just off of the historic Stockyard road, the bricks where they take the Longhorn down it twice a day, every single day. And you guys are rented out with the help of the donations of the sponsors, including Gilchrist. You guys have rented out the entire Tannehill's Tavern and Music Hall.
Yeah. We got the whole thing. We do have on the VIP side, which is when you will be able to get unlimited crawfish and open bar. You'll also have access to the second floor, which are suites and just a way to get away from everyone. It has a private bar up there too, but those are limited tickets because we have limited space for seating for the crawfish boil side. So we only have so many VIP tickets. So
$100 to get in general admission, 100% of those proceeds, and you can choose whether that goes to Cook's, Children's, to St. Jude, or split between them, however you want to do that, or the VIP package, which you said then includes all you can eat crawfish boil, open bar,
chill with the guys.
Chilling with the guys, all that $300 per ticket. Once again, I'm assuming all that's 100% tax deductible.
Yep. That's all tax deductible. Well, not if you buy the tickets; those aren't. We are giving them all to giving the proceeds to the charities, but because of the raffle side of it, I don't think that the person buying the tickets gets that deduction. I'll clarify that. I know that all the items donated are in-kind donations, and those are tax deductible.
I got you. So the VIP package is unlimited crawfish. That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Open bar. That's equally dangerous.
Yeah, trust me.
For the raffle tickets, and then you get the access to the
and on the crawfish side, whatever's left over after 7:30, when we open up the main hall to everyone. Everyone can hop in and finish them off if there's any left over. But it's dangerous to let 54 anglers loose on crawfish and drinks.
So, but it was really cool how it came together from, a badass party in Fort Worth to kind of show off the town, give the anglers a night to kind of cut loose. And then to include this, and then to include the local community around that with the charity element. Big shout out. I know that you have put a lot of work into this with Gretchen, a lot of people in the local community and Fort Worth community. So thank you very much for doing this. And the link is in the description of the show. I'm sure you and Chris will have the link and all of that out on all of your social medias as well.
Best part about this, Matt, kind of cut you off real quick. The best part about this is, a lot of the viewers, a lot of the people tuned in right now, they're not from the area. Maybe they're on the fence about traveling down to the Classic. If you've never gone to a Classic, I highly suggest you check it out. Not only the expo is awesome, the weigh-ins they're gonna be multiple 30 sacks. I'm telling you right now on Ray Roberts. But whether you go to our event or not that Monday night, flights into DFW are so easy. So no matter where you're tuned in here this morning, flights are really, really cheap comparatively to flying elsewhere. But it's easy in, easy out, and it's an absolute awesome good time. I mean, it's Fort Worth, Texas. I mean, I moved here from California for a reason. This is where they have legit cowboys, not the fake ones like Matt and I when we wear our cowboy hats downtown. There are legit cowboys down here. This is Cowtown, and just huge bass all over this area. So it's going to be freaking amazing.
And it's our event's an opportunity to celebrate the guys. You'll get to hang out with them, and I just want the guys to have a night where they can just take a breather. They don't have obligations, and they get to kind of like sit there and think, wow, I've made the Classic. They get to take it in.
No sponsor logos, anglers. I want to see cowboy hats and boots.
So.
And if you've never been down before, and you have, a wife, a family who's not this is a place that you want to take them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot for kids to do in Fort Worth. I don't know.
And kids get into this.
I don't know.
Should have followed that. Should have followed up with that question beforehand.
Yeah. I think you can in Texas if you have a parent with you.
I don't know. I've been around the stockyards and seen some pretty young kids in some sketchy places.
Yeah. It happens.
So
I think Trait's actually going to raffle off that her rifle right there too. She's been out hog hunting here lately. So.
Oh, I see you finally. Did you finally get the spotted one that you've been obsessed with?
Yeah.
Yep. And I got one the same size, the same night, 3 hours later.
At like 2 a.m. or something.
3:30 a.m. walked up on her and she was just hanging
Is
out.
that the same one that cut our fishing trip short, Chris?
Yes, it is. It is. Yes, it
It was
is.
like a month in the making.
It is.
I actually
went that night.
I went without Chris.
Oh, you did?
I was at a
Mhm.
show. Yeah, I was at a show and
Yeah.
she went and killed it.
One more time, it is www.classiccrawfishboil.com. If you
We're-
have any,
We're hoping that this becomes a yearly thing at the Classic. We'll just go to the next city, the next host city, and partner with someone local and stay with St. Jude's too. And we'll just see how the support is on this one first.
Monday, March 17th, Tannehill's Tavern and Music Hall, Fort Worth, Stockyards.
St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day. I think you said it starts at like what 6:30,
6:30,
something around there.
Yeah.
But all of the or the majority, I think all of the Classic competitors will be invited.
Yep. Everybody will.
And I would assume 95% of them will be there.
I mean, it's Crawfish and an
Yeah.
bar.
And a lot of people in the industry and stuff. This is a great opportunity to support charity, to meet your favorite anglers, to eat some crawfish with Chris, with Hamner, with just look at the Classic list of guys, and then all the other guys that are in town, people in the industry that are there too. So
imagine Lee Livesey and the Johnston brothers, seeing them at 10 p.m. at Tannehill's that evening. Oof.
yeah, just full of crawfish and free alcohol.
Oof.
And
Live music.
the person cooking the crawfish, I'm a snob when it comes to it, and he's the best I've ever had. He's coming from Louisiana. He knows what he's doing.
Very nice.
Big
So,
tub.
Yeah.
all right. If you have any questions, is there email? Is there
Yeah, donate at classiccrawfish.com is
Yep,
the email.
there it is down there at the donate at classiccrawfish.com. You could also shoot me an email, matt@bassone.com, and I can pass that information along as well. So, all right. What's going on with the old podcast? You guys kind of shook up the industry. You had the mobile, you had the thing at the house, you had all of that, and then just like happens with so many podcasts,
Yeah.
No.
just
Did not.
faded into oblivion.
I would just first like to, because I've seen the comments. We did not get canceled.
Faded away.
We did not get canceled. We did not get in trouble. Our sponsors still support the podcast, but there were two things. I wanted to get off the road, so I wanted to move the podcast here to the house in our new shop we built, and Battleborn pulled out of the industry.
Okay.
And it's not a secret. They're a publicly held company. You can go look at their financials. I own stock, so I too watch their financials. And they just got hit with Chinese flooding the market and subsidizing the industry. And look, fishing, I love our community. But when it comes to premium lithium batteries, most of the people do not buy them. They do not need a battery that lasts them 10 years in fishing in their boat. That's what we've learned. And so, unfortunately, Battleborn exited fishing. They sponsored John Cox, Drew Bitton, several people. And we actually had a year left on our contract, but again, I wanted to move the podcast into the shop. Part of our contract was the podcast being in the RV, so it kind of helped them a little bit. We just made an agreement, like, hey, they get out of the contract early and we get to sell the RV, and we got nothing bad to say about them. Good people. They make a great battery. It's just what the industry they're dealing with and fishing, so.
Yeah. You got to answer the comments there earlier about the Bilge podcast. You got to understand, like, our secret sauce was having our guest literally 6 feet in front of us in the back of our RV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we had the MLF polygrapher, MLF polygrapher, and a couple other guests where we had a studio inside of a rented hotel or a house or whatever it was. So having that secret sauce is extremely difficult. It's way more difficult than to set up what's your little duck thing, your little StreamYard. So that or a Skype session, that's a lot easier to set up, but we want to stick with that Bilge tradition of interviewing our guests right in front of us. So since the Battleborn pull out, we love those guys, but we got rid of the RV, which means we got rid of the Bilge podcast set. And right now we're putting the pieces in place to set up an actual studio and actually fly our guests.
Yeah, we're gonna fly everyone in, bring them in for at least a day, maybe 2 if they want to do go fishing with Chris and do like a vlog or something. It's just easier. It also is less stress for Chris during tournaments, because we were fitting those in like the night before practice or an off day, or sometimes between back-to-back tournaments. And we just decided, like, me and Charles are going to hang around the house, fly people in. Chris is going to focus on tournaments. We're not even going to film during most of the tournaments. We're not doing tournament vlogs. We're just kind of shifting how we do things. But we didn't get in trouble with the bilge. I still have a mouth on me. Bassmaster did come out with a rule that many people are calling the trait rule. We'll talk about it on the first episode we drop. And Matt, you want to be our first guest back?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm in, as long as I'm better by then.
Yeah.
Hopefully this doesn't last 6 months.
We almost did some without the set being completely built with Easton Fothergill and Kyle Patrick. They were at our house a couple weeks ago. And I kind of pulled the plug.
See what Chris is doing.
Yeah. I pulled the plug on that and said, let's just wait until the set's finished. So
those are some awful minnowy guys there, Chris, that you're hanging out with some little minnow maestros.
Yeah. So the classic waters went off limits January 1st, and they spent 5 days here before it went off limits. I told them, hey, I'm gonna be a decent guy and let them stay at my house here. And every day they'd go out first thing in the morning, come back super late. And all the characteristics of Lake Ray Roberts came out on those two guys.
I mean, you have to remember those guys. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, here you have Kyle Patrick. Like, man, this place sucks. There's no fish in it. Easton Fothergill comes home. Oh, I caught 2 7-pounders today, shaking a minnow or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's Ray Roberts. It's either hot or cold.
You kind of started the beginning of this. Like, those guys were watching you throw a Roman made when they were like 11.
Dude, it's crazy.
And now they're here, like, staying at your house practicing for the classic. That had to be pretty cool.
Insane.
He went out with Easton on that little lake that you talk about, the little kind of pond.
Yeah.
Him and Easton went out and fished together, and Chris told me he just kind of took it all in.
Yeah.
Just watched what Easton does.
Yeah, that's the same. So when do we have a reboot? When do we know, like, what a time period is when we could expect this? I mean, is this going to be like walking like full studio? I mean, are we talking like $1 million set here, folks?
No, not like that, but it's going to look good. I'm putting walls up right now. They're straight concrete and iron. And so I'm putting some walls up, and then hopefully a new sponsor we're about to sign with. So that'll make all sense when this happens. I'm trying to be patient. We've never had a set schedule. We've never had like deliverables that we have to have a podcast every week. So for us, it's like, when it's right, we'll do one,
We're letting all the other podcasts catch up.
Yeah.
All 36 of them.
I'll just keep grinding away.
But
I'll tell you what, I do enjoy, I've had this year, I've had a number of in-studio guests, and it is a different dynamic when you're looking at that person directly in the eyes as opposed to, of course, I mean, I would lose $150,000 a year if I had to fly all of my guests in to do a show every day.
Yeah, we're definitely, we'll see how it
that's
works.
Fantastic. But all right, classic crawfish boil.
Yes.
March 17th. I mean, this is one of those things. I mean, if you're a baller and you want to fly in a little bit early, if you're planning on doing the classic and you want to fly in for it, jump in on it on Monday, and then maybe go fish Lake Fork on Tuesday or something like that, get a trip, and then boom, everything kind of kicks off for that week. If you're in the area, I mean, Chris, I've experienced it too. The amount of hardcore tournament anglers in the DFW area is mind-boggling.
To Texas, there's plenty. Louisiana, there's plenty.
Yeah, I would expect to see a lot of those guys at this event to make that drive, a very easy drive, and also trait just for the common folk. explain the difference between like driving into like Fort Worth and Dallas. Like what's the difference between Dallas and Fort Worth there, Trey?
All right, so here's the difference. I was just talking to someone about this. So I'm from Fort Worth, but I went to SMU in Dallas, and I thought my parents, particularly my mother, was going to disown me. And then I worked in Dallas in finance and changed my number to 214, and she definitely wanted to disown me at that point. So one city and even though Fort Worth's big, especially since COVID, it's grown. It's like a small town feel, and that's what people fall in love with. So obviously we have like the third biggest metroplex in the country. Our media market is like second or something, maybe one at this point. All those companies are moving here, but it still has that small town feel, especially in the stockyards.
When I first moved here to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Dallas reminded me of California, where there's traffic. There are people that don't hold the door open for you. They don't give you the time of day. You just drive 30 minutes to the west into Fort Worth, and it's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, hold the door open for you. Cowboy hats, respectable all over the place. And Fort Worth is one of those places for the Classic where it's just large enough but just small enough to host all the fishing fans.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to you having a great event also there, Chris. You don't want to put the
a lot of work in the off season.
Yeah, you don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, but there's some opportunities for some full circle moments.
Fireworks on that place.
Yeah. So anything else you guys want to get in here? Like I said, I greatly appreciate it. A lot of work that you put in on the back end of this trait, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic event.
If anyone wants to donate directly to St. Jude or Cooks, we have links on the website. If you can't be here, but you want to buy raffle tickets, which again, 100% of those tickets go to St. Jude or Children's, please do that. And if you have something you want to donate, we're taking for the raffle, we're taking donations. We just ask that whatever it is valued over $1,000. We just want, bigger tickets. We don't want to have a bunch of little things, it just makes everything more efficient and easier. It just any way you can support helps. And then if you can come celebrate the anglers, make them feel good, let them kind of absorb the achievement they've made before like the stress really kicks in of the event.
You got secret bait too, don't you? Didn't I see you pump like a new Bass Mafia swim bait?
Yeah, we posted a teaser yesterday. We got two secret baits. Yeah, she just grabbed one of them. She's showing it there. Yeah.
Is that the first time that's ever been seen?
I haven't shown that one to you yet. Show it. Yeah, go ahead. No. Show it.
Really? We're doing that?
Yeah, you can. I mean, everyone knows. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. We did a little collab with the best wooden.
Oh my gosh, I recognize the bottom.
Yes. All right.
I didn't know that. No way.
Yeah. Yep. So we did a collab.
Oh, that's like an old school collab. That's like bringing back a 1980s sneaker to basketball.
That's the best hand carver in the world.
And no one else could have pulled it off because every time I throw it on live and this, and I didn't try to hide it. There's a lot of companies here that have copied that, and he took notice of it. I never tried to hide it, and I'd always give him praise wherever it was due. So hand-carved wooden glide baits in a legit gizzard shad profile. So never done before in Japan.
Really?
They don't have gizzard shad there.
No, they've got like hitch and
the
IU.
IUs, yeah.
Yeah. You know how you catch an IU?
Yeah, with another IU with hooks on its side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look it up. Those who don't know what we're talking about, look it up on YouTube. It's freaking interesting.
It was when we were in Japan, the funniest saying that I always said was it takes an IU to catch an IU. So in order to go IU fishing, you go buy your IU.
Yep.
And then every time you catch an IU, then that IU becomes the bait IU.
Yeah. Long story short is they rub up against each other in these streams. So you put the hooks on the outside of it, and then they just rub up on each other, and then you hook one, and then you just swap it out and keep going. It's wild. It's the whole thing.
Yeah. I think guys are going down the wrong path in the comments, maybe.
Should I look or not?
I don't know.
That's project guessing. Number 2. We've been busy, Matthew.
They're guessing on the secret project.
We've got another secret project I released.
They're going down the wrong
yesterday too.
Yeah, you guys are. This is the OG.
Mm-hmm.
We love Tater Hog though, Matt.
Yeah, no,
We
I've
love
got that.
him.
I've got a
He's
couple
amazing.
of his too.
Awesome guy.
He's awesome.
guy.
You know?
And I will still throw
You guys are on the wrong continent.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. That was fun. We got to get out where we actually catch some giant crappie, though. Chris,
Yeah.
I felt very bad. I made Chris drive 2 hours and then an extra hour, and then we didn't catch crap, and then we only caught a couple 12-inchers. It was brutal.
I learned the technique, and that is awesome.
It was brutal. You saw the big ones that I was holding up with Frank. It's learning the technique and having it when you go, and it's a 2.5 pounder, totally different.
Yes, Cameron Sarter nailed it. Absolutely.
There you go. All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. We'll see you.
Stay tuned. Thanks, Trey.
Thanks,
Matt. Chris.
Get to feeling better.
All right. See ya. All right. There you go. Chris and Trey Zaldain doing some good stuff over there. Looking forward to the. I had heard some rumors of that the Bilgers revamping or rearming themselves. I forgot to ask Trey about the what was in the backpack right behind her. I think that's a sponsor plug there. But all right, I made it through without a single cough and fit, so I'm going to call that as a win. I'm going to fire up the background music and say this has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We'll talk to everyone later. See ya.